Y ahora voy a ver el quinto episodio de esto y después el sexto y ya está. ¿Te puedes creer que me quiero comprar un juego y no sé qué? Ah, vale, y no sé qué. Y no sabes qué juego. Claro, tienes ganas de jugar, pero no encuentras un juego. Claro, ahí es que... Pues... No puedo sugerirte ninguno. O sea, seguramente cualquiera que te sugiera te parecerá una mierda o ya te lo has pasado o ya te lo hayas pasado.
CNBC's Jane Wells live in Los Angeles with how the 360's problems are heating up literally.
This all came together in this horrific perfect storm.
Some faulty Xbox 3.
Es verdad, el anterior capítulo terminó apareciendo el tema de las luces rojas. Problema que, por cierto, a mí no me pasó, ¿eh? Tuve varias T60 y no me pasó en ninguna. Tuve la suerte, la verdad, tuve suerte porque pero le pasó, vamos, pasó a muchísima gente.
It started to really be concerning, and the numbers started to grow.
I had a sick feeling in my stomach. Microsoft hasn't specified the cause, but users say the console's cooling system just can't take the heat of a lot of Plague.
We were just having failure.
Creo que era unas soldaduras, ¿no? Unas soldaduras de estaño, no sé qué, estaban mal hechas y entonces se rompían. Era algo así. Se rompían por el calor. Cuando alcanzaba X temperatura se rompían. Le costó un puto dinero a Microsoft. Creo que le costó 1.000 millones. 1.000 millones.
And as a result, we're seeing unprecedented failure rates. It's broken.
Everything that I've worked for the last couple of years is trashed.
There's a new contender in the video game wars.
Xbox is going to be the future, truly the future of video games.
Xbox.
Ampliaron la garantía un año, tiene 2 años, la ampliaron a 3 años. La garantía de la consola. Y hubo muchos hijos de puta que se aprovecharon de eso. O sea, que no tenían problema con la consola y la cambiaron. Se aprovecharon de cómo estaba Microsoft en ese momento y lo aprovecharon. Gente que no tuvo problemas. ¿Qué vale más la pena hoy en día una Play 4? Para mí, en base a mis gustos, una Play 4. Para mí, en base a mis gustos. Ahora, valor vale más una Switch.
So the achievement is that we made it to Xbox 360. And internally, it's fun to laugh at lots of the missteps.
You'll see Xbox will actually start up.
Like, we can laugh at the Xbox didn't turn on at the original unveil.
We can bring that video up.
But with Xbox 360, honestly, even with the benefit of time, nobody laughs at the red rings.
To understand the red rings of death, you've got to go back to
Creo
the beginning.
que a PlayStation le pasó algo similar. A mí tampoco, yo tampoco tuve problemas con la PlayStation 3. Pero en PlayStation 3 no sé si era el mismo. No sé si era el mismo motivo, pero tuvo el problema de las luces amarillas, cosa que a mí tampoco me pasó.
And so to achieve that level of performance, we had to push technology and solutions that didn't exist in the previous generation.
Joder, que tío, parece falsa. Perdona. La barba de este tío parece... Este señor parece editado, tío. Parece que tiene un filtro de suavizado. La barba y eso es como si estuviese suavizada, está súper cuidada, tío.
This was an incredibly hard, complicated program. The circuit board itself is a completely custom design, and we were building these chips, which was a new process at the time.
We did our own internal design instead of buying off-the-shelf silicon.
We're bringing up new hardware with software that isn't quite done yet on new test systems that we're developing in real time.
And that had a domino effect on the whole product.
The design was coming together kind of late.
We were launching in November of 2005, and we did
Y
not
no vimos
see
nuestro
our
primer
first silicon
silicio.
from the CPU until February of 2005.
Fíjate, tío.
This is ridiculous.
That's 9 months before launch. That is an absurdly short time frame. The normal time frame would probably be like 2 years.
2 años,
So
es
we're
lo
faced
normal,
with
es lo
finishing the
habitual.
design and wrapping our production lines at the same time.
We wanted to launch it worldwide so everybody had it at the same time. But that's a big challenge because you also need to have enough units to restock in retail so that the countries you do launch in aren't out of inventory.
We need to get our yields up, and so we're cranking up production.
Ahora mismo están hablando
Highest
antes
manufacturing
del error.
output, I remember hearing numbers like a console would come off the line every 4 seconds.
But as we're ramping production, we start to see reports of these issues that were coming up. Lots of
Y ahora los
inconsistencies.
errores, ¿no?
Consoles would fail at test stations.
If you
Ah,
build
no,
100
aún
of
no.
these things, only 50 or 60 of them would work, which is really, really bad. Like a real robust yield rate would have been 90, 95.
This was the fog of war that we had to see through, and that was, is there something wrong with the design of the product?
O sea, están hablando de errores previos, errores previos en
Because we were
lanzamiento.
trying to ship in high volume, there wasn't much time to think about it because there was so much to be done. One way of dealing with the failed consoles was to put them into these nice boxes and stack them so that you would get
Al
back
menos
to them at some
eso estoy
future
entendiendo
point
yo,
in time. In a way, we were kicking the can down the road a little bit.
We are developing what we call a bone pile. At the height, we created a bone pile that was over 600,000 units deep. And so it's just
Hostia,
like
qué
the
máquina más
Lucille
rara,
Ball
tío.
episode where
Qué
the
máquina más
chocolates are coming
chula,
off
tío.
the conveyor belt, and they're coming off so fast that they can't do anything with them. That's exactly what was going on.
The thing about building consoles is Christmas doesn't change. So your schedule
Es que la época navideña es importantísima para todas las compañías.
to get it done by November.
After a hectic lead up to production
Sí, están hablando
and months of intense
pre-lanzamiento.
troubleshooting, engineers finally managed to solve the technical issues that had plagued the 360. As consoles started to pass QC, the team was finally able to chip away at the bone pile in an effort to meet the demand, which, at the time of launch, was ravenous.
So here is ready for Xbox 360.
I'm outside the Best Buy in Midtown. It's raining here in New York, but these gamers don't care. They've been out here in the rain since early this morning, and they're not leaving until they get an Xbox 360.
When the Xbox 360 launched, there was a palpable excitement for this console.
The Xbox 360 finally got out of your dreams and into your car. Microsoft had their fingers
Fue un movimiento magnífico por parte de Microsoft. La 360 fue un buen movimiento. La Xbox original tuvo una vida muy corta y se antepuso, se adelantó al lanzamiento de la PS3. Fue un muy buen movimiento. la verdad.
We at Microsoft had absolutely nailed that experience.
The demand was really, really high. We were selling every single unit we could ship into the market.
I know there are a lot of fans out there that want a 360. There's a shortage out there. You know, is that a marketing strategy, or can you not produce enough? What's the real story on that?
We are making as many as we can, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Hostia, este es... Era Geoff Keighley, creo, el de los Game Awards, creo.
And we just need to be able to catch up.
Yo nunca he asistido a un supermercado así. Nunca he visto algo así. O sea, no he estado presente. No he estado presente en un momento en el que la gente se matase por entrar a un centro comercial, ni nada. No he vivido ese momento físicamente.
We were paranoid.
Sony had such credibility that they
Ahora
had
hablan de
cultivated
PS3.
from the PlayStation 1 to the PlayStation 2. So they were riding on this tidal wave of success and goodwill from gamers.
Coming off the PlayStation 2, Sony had done everything right.
Hombre, hostia, sale uno de Sony aquí en el documental.
Game industry history, and really just needed to stay to the playbook.
Claro.
In contrast to that, you just witnessed Microsoft coming to market at the right price.
Lo petó.
A year before
Lo petó
you're
con
able to
360,
come
es
to
que lo
market.
petó.
So you know you're facing formidable competition.
PlayStation 3 is the best of breed computer entertainment platform.
PlayStation 3
Uf, con la PS3 Sony mintió muchísimo,
from the get-go.
Mintió muchísimo en el lanzamiento de la PS3. Pero un montón, un montón, un montón. O sea,
We knew they were going to be somewhat arrogant.
The next generation doesn't start until we
la
say
próxima... esto fue brutal. Pero brutal. La próxima generación no comienza hasta que nosotros lo digamos. Eso lo dijo Sony, tío. O sea, un alarde de prepotencia brutal. No, digo... O sea, sobre todo en PS3. O sea, si no os acordáis o no lo habéis visto, el E3 de 2005 creo que es, si no me equivoco, donde se presentó la PS3, la mitad de juegos que salen no salieron. La mitad de juegos que salen o no salieron, o salieron después primero en Xbox 360. Mintieron sobre un montón de datos, muchísimos datos.
And they would price their console to where they felt they needed to have it because they felt that they were untouchable.
This is sort of pre-live streaming era, and a bunch of us were huddled around one person's laptop, like a 15-inch laptop screen.
Pero una cosa que siempre Sony ha usado muy bien es su estándar. El estándar que tiene y que a día de hoy sigue, por supuesto, manteniendo en la industria.
$659 Canadian.
Wait a minute, did $5.99?
Sí, fue...
$5.99.
$600 salió, sí.
Consoles didn't launch at those kind of price points.
It was like,
Salió
holy cow,
exageradamente cara.
We just got handed this generation. We were high-fiving each other, people were crying.
There were just all these ways that Sony had put their own foot in their mouth.
Sony said it would be a privilege for people to work extra
Fue también al principio del Blu-ray.
their overly priced console.
Comenzó siendo el único Blu-ray del mercado y eso querían aprovecharlo Sony también.
And that opened a window for Microsoft to be able to sort of say, hey, like we have a great system that's going to play
Eso
all
también
the
lo
games you
usaron.
want to play. We've got better online for cheaper.
Thank you very much and have a great show.
De hecho, durante los primeros años... Perdona. ¿Tú crees que PS5 iba a salir a 500? Pues no recuerdo si pensaba yo que iba a salir a 500, la verdad. Yo pensaba que fuese el que fuese más potente, que pensaba que iba a ser Xbox. La otra tenía que ser más barata. Supongo que pensaría eso. Ahora mismo no recuerdo qué pensaba, la verdad. Ha salido info de que iba a costar más. Puede ser. No me extrañaría. O sea, si lo que he dicho, o sea, si una cosa sabe usar Sony es el prestigio, el nombre que tiene. Lo sabe usar muy bien y eso se ve en los precios que pone, en los movimientos que hace, cómo los hace, eso se nota, o sea, lo usa. Como cualquier otra empresa lo usa. Y lo que diga, aquí usaron también empezó el Blu-ray, nació el Blu-ray y entonces fue un motivo también por el que aprovecharon para subir el precio. La gente querría un Blu-ray y tal. Creo que durante 1 o 2 años no hubo otro Blu-ray en el mercado. La única que hubo fue la PlayStation 3, si no recuerdo mal. O sea que... ¿Has visto el Final Fantasy VII? Sí, el Final Fantasy VII y el Forspoken, por cierto. Si no lo sabéis, el Forspoken también está a 80 euros.
After the launch of PlayStation 3 was like being made captain of the Titanic right after it hit the iceberg.
Ni idea, no sé por qué en PC lo han puesto también a 80. Ni idea, no tengo ni idea, la verdad.
After Sony's announcement, we could not wait
No tengo ni
to get
idea.
on stage the next day.
Eso es de Square, por cierto. Ahí es por la relación que hay entre Sony y Square.
Right here and right now, with titles that are nothing short of spectacular.
Grand Theft Auto 4.
PlayStation fans and even Nintendo fans who were coming to Xbox because we had the best games, we had the best system, we had the best online network. We led in every
Cuando anunciaron GTA 4 también fue un gran momento.
We're delivering on that vision with Xbox 360, with a high-definition gaming experience more powerful than anything else in the industry.
Yeah, we were riding high, we were celebrating. I'd say the morale is extremely high.
Ahora están hablando cuando alcanzaron la cima y ahora después va a llegar las luces rojas.
And then the storm hit.
Ahí está.
Before launch, engineers had worked around the clock to fix 360's early technical issues. But by June 2006, there were reports of an
Un año más
entirely
tarde.
new, never before seen problem. Distress calls flooded into Redmond. Something had gone terribly wrong.
It was in the forums, and I started to notice that something wasn't right. There was a lot of chatter about console failures.
Dude, what? Your Xbox? You might want to take a
Mira,
look
un
at
coche de Fast and Furious.
Over time, we kept hearing more and more about it. We'd go to a launch event for a game, or we'd go to meet with games journalists. Then they would all start talking to us about it. Like, before we can talk about new features, we want to know, is this fixed? But we had no sense of how big of an issue it was. We didn't even know how to deal with it. And then we saw more reports of it.
Microsoft have been in the news with their latest computer system, but it seems the last big product they launched can have some problems.
That's the first time I seen this. There it is. Mother.
The Xbox 360 had a really cool feature where there were 4 green lights around the Xbox emblem.
Each of those lights corresponded to a specific controller, and so
Ah,
that's how you knew
hostia, tú, no lo sabía.
We also used
Tío, creo que no lo sabía. O sea, las 4 luces que tiene el círculo verde equivale a un puto mando, tío. Creo que no lo sabía. Si lo sabía ni me acordaba. ¿Vosotros lo sabíais? Yo no tenía ni idea.
to tell people
Como nunca jugaba en local, nunca jugué en local en la 360, hostias.
when there were issues.
It's like the check engine light on your car.
O sea, en local me refiero, más de un jugador.
And this was an indicator of the system detected a major issue.
The error state was just that
acabo
there was
de
no
enterar.
communication. So the machine was just basically telling you, I can't do anything.
This would show
15
up
años
as
después,
3
tú.
segments in the ring being lit red, which would come to be known as the Red Ring of Death.
It's the Red Ring of Death. Red Ring of
I got red ringed. Everybody got red ringed.
What the? Are you kidding me?
When that motherfucking red thing come up, and then the whole game freeze, and motherfucker be like, man, what the fuck is going on? We can't play. What's going on? Yo, doing that too? It was, oh my God, it was terrible.
No! Red Ring of Death! Again!
We have no Xbox. I'm calling support.
You wait on hold for a while. They let you know they really appreciate your call. You wait on hold a little bit longer, and then they go,
Okay, we're gonna get you a replacement unit. It doesn't show up for a week. All the enthusiasm's gone, and then here's the new console, and it was just like, wow.
This is the 4th Xbox. Microsoft.
4.
Effectively, the failure rate was near
¿Y
100%.
la tasa de fallo estuvo cerca del 100%?
An epidemic.
¿Qué dices, chaval? Hostias.
The glitches that went down with Xbox 360, I was mad as I'm like, get this fixed or I'm leaving. I'm joining the enemy. And as simple as that.
Feel kind of sorry for it. Not really. It deserved it.
It's a big deal because
Porque la
it's
rompes
just
si
sort of
si está en garantía.
passion that
Porque
gamers
con la
have for their
rompes.
hobby. Like, you don't want to be away from your console any longer than you need to be.
We felt the customer's pain. I had 3 boxes replaced, you know, personally at my house, and it does
tú,
make you
3
think, okay,
consolas.
I work here, and this experience is not a pleasant experience. And sending your Xbox back.
Microsoft's going to ship you a cardboard coffin, and that's what
Te
gamers
envío
were
un
calling
ataúd de
them online.
cartón.
Did your cardboard coffin arrive?
I finally got my coffin. But hopefully I'll get him back.
Hostia, tú, pues sí que tuve suerte, chaval. Para que no me tocara ninguna rota,
I
tú.
remember going out to curb and like meeting the UPS guy and looking in the back of the UPS truck and seeing wall-to-wall,
Lleno de Xbox.
Xbox returns.
The fact that it was happening to more and more people, and Microsoft was shipping a lot of hardware. That just combined to this feeling that, hey, like, are you guys really taking this seriously?
They're continuing to sell defective hardware. So a consumer could walk into the store today, buy a 360, take it home, and it's a ticking time bomb.
Is there any speculation out there what the problem is?
There's a lot of speculation, but because, well, among other things, there are 500 million transistors and 1,700 parts in each of these boxes, so the speculation could go anywhere.
Whenever we had new game launches or new system updates, I would be out meeting with the top games journalists, showing them all the new stuff. And I'm trying to sell them on the future, and they're like, dude, my console's not working, like it's broken.
For those who have experienced the flashing red lights, what causes this exactly?
That's kind of part of the problem, Kevin. Microsoft has been very vague about the specific causes. They won't cite any specifics, they won't say exactly why.
We didn't have all the answers at that time.
No lo sabían.
We were
no lo
trying to
sabían.
figure this out. Do we have a heat problem? Is the solder
En
in
ese
key
momento aún.
components in the motherboard, is it cracking up and drying out and we're losing that connection? We just couldn't figure it out.
It's a long process. You had to test it at the board level, you had to test it at the system level, and then you had to test it in the rack level. And we had almost 1 million of them sitting in our bone pile.
We'd fix the ones in the bone pile, we'd send it back out to the customer, and it turns out that wasn't the problem, and it would break again.
And I'm saying, man, this is not going to end.
After the third or the fourth issue that we ran into,
Del tercer o cuarto problema lo encontraron.
hey, maybe we're in over our heads.
And we got to the point where we said, we're not figuring this out fast enough. We made the call to shut down production.
Claro.
We went lying down at the factory. We wanted to figure out how to solve it before we built any more units to go to customers.
It stretched every bit of our imaginations.
Claro, si hay un problema en la fabricación, lo más inteligente es parar la fabricación, o si no, no vas a dejar de
People going to now go out and buy PlayStation or Nintendo. Are they going to leave us as a brand?
Every day you weren't gaming was a bad day for you. You trusted us, and you'd invested this money in us, and we let you down.
Not gonna work.
This was an incredibly trying time. People use phrases like you figure out what people are made of. Having gone through it, I can actually say that happens. It's a thing. It isn't just a phrase.
Todd had to manage the very complex process of what we call root causing until we knew what was going on.
2006, 2007, I dedicated a lot of my life
Para
to this
solventar el
Xbox in
problema.
order to fix this problem. Breakthrough came when we understood that the connections that were being broken were not located.
No estaban ubicadas en la placa base, lo que se rompía, sino en los componentes.
The problem was a connection was breaking. The reason it was breaking was thermal, but it wasn't because of the peak temperature. It was because when the unit would get hot and then cold, hot and then cold. Every time it did that, it would stress the connection. All these people love playing video games, and so they would turn this thing on and off, and when it would turn on and off, you get all sorts of stresses.
O sea, no era por el problema, no era porque llegase a una temperatura muy alta y se rompiese por eso, sino era por el constante de temperatura, de subida y bajada de temperatura. Posiblemente el material sería. Sí, eso es como cuando es lo que está explicando, cuando coges un trozo de metal y lo vas torciendo, al final se parte. Sí.
You bend something too many times till it finally breaks. That's what was happening. Once we figured it out, how in the heck are we going to fix this?
Peter Moore,
En vez de van en un
executive
soque.
team, faced a big decision about trying to fix this with all these boxes that were out there in the wild.
This was something that could tarnish the brand.
Podía no,
They
empañó.
needed to do
Por supuesto que
not just
empañó ahí,
something,
claro.
They needed to do the right thing.
If we're going to save this brand, we need first-class consumer service reaction to this.
The
Exactamente.
credibility of the whole platform really, I think, hung in the balance.
There's only one way to do this, and that is you have to fix every console for every customer
Sin costo alguno.
At no cost.
1.000 millones.
No questions asked.
Para arreglarlo todo.
I think we're off to a good start. I remember sitting on a whiteboard writing out some simple math on repair rates times $1 times a customer times an amount equals a number, and that number became pretty big. And I remember feeling in my stomach this is going to be a bigger issue than I thought.
By the time we looked at the cost of repairs, the lost sales that we factored in, we had a
Teníamos un problema de más de 1.000 millones.
Peter had to go to Steve Ballmer and basically say, hey, bad news. I need $1 billion to fix this issue.
I'm expecting to be ripped to shreds.
Sí, imagínate, Steve Ballmer, que tampoco era muy amigo de Xbox,
It is a make or break situation for Xbox. If Steve Ballmer does not give Peter more the money to go fix it, Xbox is dead. Like, there's probably no question about it.
To the credit of Steve, and I can still see him looking at me right now, he said, do it.
Y lo,
Just do it.
Bueno, evidentemente, coño, evidentemente lo hizo. O sea, pero no hubo ningún tipo de...
to repair serious hardware failures with its Xbox 360 video game console.
Over 200 million of this was simply one-way overnight shipping around the world.
Kudos to Microsoft for stepping up and putting their money where the red ring of death was.
It was one of the times when I've been proudest to be part of Microsoft because we made a mistake, we owned it, and we did the right thing for consumers.
Without that money spent, without them taking the problem head on.
Cualquier otra compañía en una situación así, prácticamente cualquier compañía habría directamente quebrado, directamente. O sea, no habría tenido opción de sobreponerse a esto o algo así.
Don't ever regret it.
Microsoft amplió la garantía de las consolas 360 a 3 años. De 1 a 3 años.
When the 360 died on me,
Ese pelirrojo. ¿Qué pelirrojo? ¿Ha salido alguien? ¿Quién pelirrojo, perdón? Ah, este. Ah, pues es de Xbox. Que yo sepa es de Xbox. Es el encargado de IGN. De Xbox en IGN.
I was pissed that it died, but I wasn't pissed at Microsoft. I just really wanted to get the 360 again and start playing again because it was just awesome.
Was frustrating, but they had hooked us. So when you hook somebody, you know they're not going to leave. They're going to work with you through difficult times.
That was a good sign that people love the thing that you're building.
But even $1 billion mea culpa may not have been enough had it not been for 2 X factors. A library of celebrated game titles.
Por suerte no lo veo. O sea, no lo veo de vez en cuando, pero no sé qué escribe. Ni cómo. Este tráiler fue... Creo que es de los mejores trailers de la historia de los videojuegos. De la historia, o sea... Si no el mejor de los mejores.
Time was the best looking game ever made, and it became this poster child for HD graphics and HD fidelity.
Like, this is a game that people are going to immediately gravitate to and go, oh my god, I can't.
Y después eso no sale en el juego,
good,
pero
joder.
When
they compare it to PS3, because this game looks better than anything on PS3 right now.
It was the fastest selling Xbox 360 game. It sold like 1 million units in the first couple of weeks, and that really propelled the 360 in a big way.
Gears of War may just be the great hope to turn the 360 into a must-buy console.
Ese no es el real. Estas fueron las primeras demos. Ahí no, Marcus Phoenix no tiene el diseño final.
Gears of War was about appealing to a hardcore gamer.
The people that play Gears, they have so much passion, and people get tattoos, and it's just the deep connection they have with the franchise and the game. It's unlike any other franchise that we have.
That is satisfying. And all of a sudden you see this tide turn of every publisher is then developing for the Xbox 360.
Secured a lot of big games
pues hombre,
for Xbox 360. You know, we published titles like Mass Effect.
Sí, es como, yo que sé. Es como a mí PS4 me la vendió Bloodborne. Yo me compré la PS4 con Bloodborne. El pack de Bloodborne.
It was a PC franchise, and we really established Call of Duty on the console in a big way.
Cameo, and this gorgeous
Cameo, guapísimo, tío, juegazo también.
Was about smooth visuals.
Forza was built as a direct competitor to Gran Turismo. We're going to go off and we're going to build a great, epic, big racing simulator game.
You had cars that had amazing reflections of the sky. They had reflections of other things. You had particle effects.
Este es el Forza Horizon 1.
Things that just made it look much more real than any other game.
To this day, my son can recognize cars by the engine sounds.
Mi hijo reconoce los coches por el
because
sonido.
he played so much Forza.
Yo no. Es fascinante, la gente que sabe identificar los coches por los sonidos es fascinante.
And then, you know, at the center of it all was Halo 3.
It had been 3 years since Halo 2 smashed industry records, and Halo fans were clamoring for the next chapter of the epic space saga.
I think that we were really surprised by the success, the huge success of Halo 2. And so as we were leading up to the Halo 3 campaign, I think we did kind of look at it all up from our marketing team.
Creo que Halo 3 sigue estando entre los juegos que más gente ha juntado, que más jugadores ha tenido activos al mismo tiempo en la historia. Creo que es el top 3. Sigue estando en el top 3, top 4, o top 3 o top 5.
Master Chief is back in the most anticipated video game ever, Halo 3.
Thousands lined up to get the final installment of the trilogy when it went on sale at midnight.
I got here 6 p.m. yesterday. Been waiting here ever since.
Halo 3.
Despertar puede ser algo grandioso, ojalá sea algo grandioso. Ojalá sea algo.
They have 1 million pre-orders, which is pretty much unprecedented.
Halo is projected to sell 4 million
Debe ser una experiencia.
60 days, more than twice as many as the 9 runners-up combined.
It's only the biggest game ever.
We were no longer some like tech company trying to be in video games.
No, tampoco puedo decir mucho, como no he jugado a los originales, tampoco puedo decir mucho. Más bien sería mi deseo de cómo quiero que sea.
The franchise spawning everything from clothing to action figures and rumors of a Halo movie.
Halo 3 really started to make gaming the mainstream cultural phenomenon.
Its first day sales could outdo not only the final Harry Potter book, but the debut of Spider-Man 3.
Halo 3 fue también la hostia. Halo 3 vendió como vendió como lo mismo que 3 o 4 exclusivos de Sony en ese momento. O sea, fue una locura lo que vendió Halo 3. Una locura.
Everything started clicking and it felt like something's happening.
We delivered the right content, the right hardware, the right games, at the right price, and we were showing massive momentum. The ship had sailed and sailed magnificently and kept sailing.
Y ahora van a llegar a Xbox One. Tarde o temprano van a llegar a Xbox One. Tengo curiosidad cómo lo plantean. A ver cómo lo plantean. Gente... Ah, no.
I left Xbox because I felt like I had done what I needed to do.
Ironically, he'll be replaced by Don Mattrick, the former president of EA, but one has to wonder, with the face of the Xbox gone, how will this affect the 360 standing in the console wars?
Don Mattrick was a really accomplished game developer. As a kid, he wrote these amazing games, and he was just like super smart.
Don's really an innovator. He's a business leader. He's really into the tech. He really wanted the Xbox to be a product that could reach a broader and broader market.
When I joined Microsoft, Steve Ballmer said Xbox needs to have more than a true product life cycle.
Más de un
and
ciclo
to
de
do that, we need to place bets, we need to move into new categories, we need to innovate and create new hit products, both in gaming and in entertainment.
When Don Mattrick came on board, it was more about trying to appeal to a completely different audience and a very broad audience. So there was this one
Project
meeting
Natal,
where he
¿no?
shows
La
up
grande
and
Project
he
Natal.
says, we're not going for 30 million consoles, we're going for 300 million consoles. And the strategy behind that was we need to make casual experiences.
Crear
When the
experiencias
Xbox
casual.
360 launched, we had Xbox Live built in. We had this very basic blade for Marketplace, and we had only game content. One of the things that I've been tasked to do was go get us some entertainment content, which was an entirely new idea of the time.
We started doing deals with studios. We were excited when we had 1 movie and then 2 movies and 5 movies and 10 movies.
Microsoft's Xbox will transform into a next-generation entertainment hub. Users will be able to navigate through music, movies, television shows.
For the first time, we were realizing that streaming and digital video content was going to be a big deal. And then we had Netflix come on.
Xbox 360 was a big part of putting Netflix.
Creo que se han equivocado de traducción ahí. No es un gran problema, sino una gran oportunidad. Creo que se han equivocado ahí. Era que el servicio de streaming iba a ser una gran oportunidad. Y entonces nació Netflix.
In the living room.
At the time, Netflix was a mail-order DVD catalog service.
Nationally, Netflix moves more than 1.5 million DVDs a day.
There's 40 of these warehouses around the country.
Right.
So that nearly every customer gets next day delivery.
Netflix hadn't done anything with digital streaming. We thought, why don't we call them up, see if they would be interested in distributing their content through Xbox 360.
We definitely accelerated their
No
growth
jodas.
because we
O sea,
introduced
fue Netflix, el servicio streaming de Netflix nació gracias a acuerdo con Xbox. Hostia, eso no lo sabía.
Opportunity for Xbox members to never leave the sofa. You know, watch movies from Netflix, play great games. It's a great platform.
And it's like, what should we do next? Well, we brought HBO, we brought Twitter, we brought Facebook. Today, that may not seem that revolutionary, but at the time, the idea to be able to do that all in one box had just never been done before.
Our Xbox Live community, the digital streaming services, the gamer tags, the achievements, the experiences, they were things that we would hear consumers say they loved and competitors say they were envious of.
Xbox Live really proved that people wanted digital content. I think that created this sort of ripple effect that affected Nintendo. They knew that they probably needed to shift on how they did some things. They weren't just going to give you another console, they were going to give you a console that did something different.
This is Mike. By day, he's Mike the businessman. But when he picks up the new Wii remote from Nintendo, he's Mike the warrior superstar athlete man.
La Wii.
Holiday of 2006, Nintendo released the Wii and turned the world upside down.
Y vendió como churros.
We're confident because for pick up and play games, there's nothing like it. For baseball, for tennis, games like that, it's fantastic. But with the nunchuck, what you're able to do in a first-person type of game is a huge step forward in control.
Entonces el éxito de Wii fue lo que motivó a Microsoft a intentar hacer algo similar. Entonces quiso crear Kinect.
It really resonated with a mass audience, a wider audience. All of a sudden, parents are playing video games with their kids again.
Suddenly, you heard people talking about video gaming as something that was good for you.
Wii Fit is about bringing fun into fitness.
Video gaming as an approachable thing that everybody could do.
They went after senior citizens, they went after female gamers, they went after people who are not
para
traditionally
Gol,
gamers.
claro, para online aún hace falta en Gol. Sí, o sea, para online sí. Para online aún hace falta
and they took
Gol,
gaming
sí.
to mainstream entertainment.
I remember Bill putting a lot of pressure on the Xbox leadership team.
Bill?
How did we miss motion gaming? What can we do to catch up?
We need to compete. We need to advance our game strategy. We don't want to do a Wiimote rip-off. We want to do our own thing.
Don also had this
O sea, no queremos hacer una copia.
controller-free gaming.
What would it be like if instead of waving something, we were recording movement? We were recording state of people physically through a camera.
The controller, he thought, was this impediment to more people playing games because you had to kind of learn this device. And his view was like, hey, if people could just like swat at things or move things or drive a car like this, it's kind of crazy, but it's like if you could drive a car like this, that would make more people more willing to play video games.
We set out to really make the console approachable to a whole new generation of people, to a whole new set of people that wouldn't otherwise think about gaming as something that it was.
Kinect fue un muy buen movimiento, fue un magnífico movimiento también. Pero
we have already been doing some technology exploration where we could map people using depth sensing and RGB cameras and microphones and stuff, and you could have that by your television rather than holding something. You could still get these similar type of experiences.
The idea that we were going to use IR kind of display, projection and reflection to measure movement was pretty magical.
Every step of the Kinect process was
No, no quiero decir lo contrario, para nada. O sea, si Kinect fue un éxito total. Un éxito total, creo que sigue teniendo el récord de accesorios más rápidamente vendido y más vendido. Si el error llegó con Xbox One, pero eso ya lo diremos en el próximo capítulo. El error fue con Xbox One. O sea, el problema no es Kinect, sino lo que hicieron después.
We prototyped probably 30 activities. We found that the whole body activities were actually the most fun, and so that's what we ended up focusing on to create something.
Vendí más de 30 millones de Kinect. O sea, eso es una locura. Es una barbaridad, tío.
We launched Kinect and it was a game changer.
Que antes al principio se llamaba Project Natal. Cuando se presentó oficialmente, se presentó con... ¿Cómo se llama el de Fable? Peter Molyneux. Se presentó como Project Natal. Sí, te entiendo, sí. Eso es justamente lo que motivó a Microsoft, al que tomó la decisión, que no sé quién fue ahora mismo, a crear Kinect. Crear una forma de juego más intuitiva, sin necesidad de mando. Eso es lo que llevó a eso.
Completely new and unexpected.
So you can see if we wave our hands, it's tracking your full body. And now we're playing. Okay. So if
A este lo jugué yo. A este lo jugué.
Jump.
In your opinion, John, how does this compare to the Wii and the Wii Fit?
Oh, completely blows it away. And this extends far past just gaming.
It's crazy. It's Minority Report status. That's how
De hecho, Kinect es el único sistema, es el único buen sistema y real para jugar a juegos de baile y hacer cosas de ejercicio. Es el único sistema bueno que ha habido. O sea, porque lo de Wii es una pantomima. Y lo del Just Dance es una pantomima también. Te pones el móvil y haces así, eso no es nada. Si no tienes algo que te lea al cuerpo, no es nada. O sea, es un cuento.
Go play a Dance Central. That just gave Xbox 360 a whole nother sense of purpose.
In the first 60 days, we sold over 8 million Kinect sensors worldwide.
Kinect was a technological marvel, but it totally fell flat with core gamers.
Y creo, sin ser algo que me interese a mí Kinect, sin ser algo que me interese mucho, porque mi motivo principal son los juegos tradicionales, sí ha habido experiencias de Kinect que me han gustado. Y pienso... posiblemente lo vieron necesario. Me parece que fue una pena que lo abandonaran. Fue una pena que lo abandonaran. Porque creo que cubría un público distinto y más amplio. O sea, ampliaba los gustos. Por ejemplo... juntarte con amigos y bailar o juego, yo que sé, cosas de ejercicio o lo que sea. Eso es algo que ahora ya no hay nada que lo abarque. Está el Just Dance ese, pues ya está. Yo creo que es una pena que lo abandonaran.
Kinect didn't work with Halo, but Kinect was an amazing tool for so many things like research and how we think about augmented reality and virtual reality experiences.
It's been fun to watch innovation of computer science come not from academia or industry, but to come from gaming.
And it turned out that Kinect creative community just went on to do
sí, se te entiende perfectamente.
with this device.
People got into hacking the Kinect early last year.
A mí, por ejemplo, el juego que más me gustó de Kinect fue uno de los minijuegos que tiene Star Wars. Uno de los juegos de Star Wars que hubo. El de las vainas. Me gustó un montón el de las vainas.
What is neat is the technology that is used in video games now and how it can be applied to other things, not just gaming.
And they're calling it the Kinect effect.
Microsoft's Kinect could revolutionize medicine.
Being used to aid the rehabilitation of stroke patients.
Y por supuesto el uso que tenía, el uso médico que tenía Kinect.
So gaming has created this piece of technology that today drives the industry forward.
With Xbox 360, we had an amazing product that had finally broken through. The ecosystem was healthy.
Sí, Wii por lo que vendió fue porque abarcaba un público casual para la consola de los abuelos. La Wii ha sido la consola de los abuelos, por así llamarlo. Mucha gente mayor jugaba a la Wii, tío. Y no tan mayor, pero...
It was a pretty great second iteration for Microsoft as a company.
Against all odds, the Xbox 360 basically won that second console generation.
By the end of that generation, I think people had sort of felt the pendulum had swung from PlayStation dominance to Xbox dominance.
There were more players than ever playing Xbox. The brand really was in a terrific place.
And there was no chance. There's
Un
nothing
juego que
Microsoft
usa
could
mucho
do
más la
that could
lógica
possibly
real es
torpedo the
Zelda,
success they
Harley
had with the
2.
Xbox 360.
We're about to change entertainment forever.
Again.
Y ahora, aquí hablan de la Xbox One. Aquí hablan ya del Reveal de Xbox.
TV, 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 TV,
television, television, television.
Watch TV. Team Xbox is on a new mission. This is it, Xbox One.
I cannot believe this press conference.
We've got this vast amount of gamers that are increasingly loving Xbox, and we're building great experiences that they've never seen before. And now we're going to be the connected TV, so we're going to have the set-top box for the living room. And it turned out like nobody wanted that.
Oh, hell no, Microsoft. Hell no.
Y aquí acaba. Ahora empieza la de Xbox One.